everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to the channel. I realize I have not given you a raised bed garden update in a long time, especially now that it's all planted and everything's growing. So I'm going to walk you through our different beds, show you what we have growing, how well it's doing, and then I'm going to have to take care of some tomato plants and some pepper plants and stake them up. So come along with me on the journey.
Found one right here, one right here, and one right here.
Oh, they're taking off, aren't they? So, from where we last left off, we ended up doing compost. We added a bunch of leaves and dry material, litter, and then my husband Michael, he topped everything off with some topsoil from our own property. I did add a little bit of peat in there to kind of break it up because it's kind of clay, if you will. So, this is our final product for dirt. Looks pretty good. We did end up doing 2 trellises. And there's one over there. And we do have room for one more if we want to add it. But we kind of ran out of time before the season started, so we just went with the 2 trellises for now. All I did was stake down some rebar. And there it goes. So I was really torn on what to put in between the beds. We had the black plastic, the weed barrier that we put down when we first made the beds. And so I didn't know if I wanted to do mulch, little pea gravel, larger stones, concrete. So we kind of did the pros and cons of each. I didn't want to do pea gravel because I was afraid it would move out into the grass and then we'd be mowing all over it. I didn't want to do mulch because I didn't want to have to put more down and switch it out throughout the years and build it up. Didn't want to mess with that. I didn't want to purchase stepping stones because, as you can tell, this is a very large area and that would be a lot of stepping stones and it'd be really expensive. So we came up with the idea to just use chert, the same stuff that we've been using on our driveway out to the YouTube yacht. This stuff has worked great. Once it rains, the clay compacts and it does not move anywhere. No weeds are growing in it because it's so thick. It's literally like pretty pavement. So great choice, and it looks pretty too. It's kind of got that nice little red look to it, so I really like it. I think it was a good choice. Now, when it comes to what I planted, almost every single thing in here we have started from seed, or it was gifted to us from a neighbor or a friend. There's only a couple things in here that I actually bought starts of from the farm store. So I'm going to give you a little tour of what all I've planted this year. The way that I plotted out my beds, I use the square foot gardening method, and I actually downloaded an app. It's called Planter. And you plug in your information. You can build your own beds. So my beds are 4x8, so I put in 4x8 into the app and it gives me a grid of a 4x8 bed. Then you can add whatever vegetables you want. So say for instance, if you pick peppers, it'll give you all the companion plants for peppers. It'll give you plants that don't go well with peppers, and it shows you the kind of spacing that you need for that vegetable. So it was really neat. It really helped me plan out my garden. It was relatively affordable. I think it was like $3 or something like that for the app. And then once you make your beds, you can just delete your app or get rid of your subscription. But I think I'm going to hold on to it because it made planning so much easier. So check out the app Planter and see if it works for you. So these are some gifted tomato plants. I believe those are pink tomatoes that my neighbor gave me. And then we have cucumbers over here, started from seed. These are my extra tomatoes that I just kind of threw in the ground. I think some of them are going to be cherry tomatoes. I think this one might be a purple tomato. We got Romas, and then these are purple tomatoes, so I can't wait to see how those turn out. Over here I also have some tomatoes that one of my coworkers gifted me. All kinds of miscellaneous. We've got some beefsteak. I think there's Roma over there, cherry, some other different kind of random tomato names. You know, there's a bajillion different tomato names, so we're definitely gonna have tomatoes coming out of our ears later. Got some shallots, onions, carrots. I need to weed this garden. This is on my to-do list for today, is weeding and staking tomatoes is what I gotta get done, so you guys are gonna help me. And then over here, zucchini, yellow squash. Looking good. Oh, look at the bee. That's exactly what we want to see. A little honeybee.
Oh.
And our blossoms, our squash blossoms. Now, these aren't quite ready yet, but these are going to be my pride and joy right here. These are going to be black sunflowers. It is actually not very common sunflower. Native Americans used to use it for dye, and I can't wait to see how they turn out. I'm definitely going to be saving some seeds on these. These are heirloom seeds, so we're going to be saving seeds and hopefully planting a much bigger batch this year. I only started out with a few of them, so hopefully we can grow a crop next year. Several of my seeds that I got this year, of course I had some that were left over from before, but I got on this website called freeheirloomseeds.org, and it was really neat because you can actually get packets of seeds for free. It's a non-for-profit organization, so they do ask for donations and things like that, especially if you get over 10 packets of seeds. So I ended up getting several different kinds of seeds sent in my donation, and I mean, they arrived really quick. So I got some really unique things, some purple green onions, some purple tomatoes, these black sunflowers, some different types of corn and beans, and watermelon and gourds, and they just have the greatest variety, and it's all heirloom seeds. So they're great to save for later after you've done your harvest and things like that. So I definitely recommend getting on there and checking out all their different kinds.
So there's one right here. And right there. Right. Got that. Put in the basket. Then we got one right here. That's a juicy one.
Oh, that's good looking. Oh, dropped it.
I got it. Oh, God. Ow, spiky. This is the hardest. There's one back there.
Are you?
There's one all the way back there.
Nice.
Woo! Holy moly!
Spiky.
Whoa, look at that one. That's a big one. Good thing I found that.
You did. All right, so I've got my little camera woman, Cora, here, who's helping me videotape. And I wanted to show you guys something that I'm not too happy about. The raised bed that I'm not happy about. So I've got corn on one side, and then I've got green beans in the middle, and then I planted a couple cucumbers along the trellis, okay? So I put this metal cage over my beans because last year I had deer come and eat all of our green beans. So I had put this over there to protect it while they were growing, and unfortunately I left it on there too long, and so the beans have grown into this little metal cage. Not only have they grown into it, but the cucumbers have grown into it, and now it's just a big, awful mess. And there's no way to get this off without killing my plants. So luckily I have little Cora who has little baby hands, and she'll have to get her little baby hands in there and pick all of our green beans for us. So yes. All right, so now I am going to stake up some of the tomato plants that we have since they're getting a little big, and I'm going to stake up a few of our pepper plants that look like they're struggling a little bit. I'm not going to go buy stakes. I'm literally going to go out in the woods and cut a stick off of a tree.
She got a big one. Ooh, that's a nice one.
All right, it's a little crooked though, but that's all right. It'll work. Got another one. Here's my stakes. Stakes I'm going to stick into the ground and help my poor little tomato plant stand up.
Did you get him, Mom?
She's in. So, you see how all these leaves, Cora, on the ground? We don't want any leaves sitting on the ground because then that's just going to attract bugs and germs and diseases. So we're going to have
Oh
to
God, the
clean
plant's
her.
in the way.
We're going to have to clean her up a little bit.
The plant blocked. Now your arm's in the way. Blocking the whole scene now.
Let's get some more.
Okay,
Okay.
got that.
All right, that one's tied off. We are done in the garden for today because it is super hot. But I did want to show you our compost pile that we have sitting next to the garden. And we have some free agents running wild in here, and I'm super excited to see if they produce anything. So, ignore the weeds. We've got a cherry tomato growing, another tomato plant, another tomato plant, tomato plant, tomato plant. Cucumber, watermelon, or some sort of melon maybe. No clue. It's looking a little scraggly. We got all kinds of little freebies coming up in the garden. I love those. I didn't have to pay for seeds. I didn't have to pay for starts. Nothing. Didn't have to do any work. So hopefully the weeds don't overtake it too bad, but I love a good free plant that might actually produce a little extra. So that about does it for today with our little garden tour. Thanks for working in the garden with us today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.